Welcome to today's podcast, an interview episode with Tim and Vanessa. I know a lot of people are looking for their inspiration, their personal motivation to get them really started on the path to home ownership. Tim and Vanessa tried a few times. They'd had a couple realtors and didn't really get the right information they were looking for. You know, they were trying to do this right after COVID, but they closed on a home here in 2025. And the inspiration for them to get going, well, it was just straight up anger. You see, they were renting a place and their landlord told them, hey, I want to remodel, and got them out of the home. And then as soon as they moved back into the newly remodeled place and they started to unpack their boxes, their landlord texted them to tell them they had 30 days to get out because now he was going to sell. Oh, and by the way, that was their wedding anniversary weekend. And they were in Florida and they had just survived a hurricane. Well, they said enough was enough. And you can hear their story right now, get their tips, their techniques, and the things they did to finally make it happen and stop being renters and start being homeowners. Let's hear their story.
How to Buy a Home educates, protects, and connects first-time homebuyers to qualified vetted realtors in their area. Whether you're looking for DIY information or step-by-step guidance, How to Buy a Home is the #1 resource for first-time homebuyers.
What's up, homies? It's time for another success story interview. I'm very excited. All the way from the East Coast, I'm here on the West Coast. This is Tim and Vanessa. They are sitting in their home. They closed on it, 3 months ago now. Almost 4 months ago.
That's flies.
Very cool. So they got a $388,000 home. What's your bed and bath situation?
2-bedroom, 2-bath.
Awesome. And it's in what part of Florida?
Tarpon Springs.
Okay, give me a big town. I don't know where that is.
It's like
Clearwater.
Yeah.
Oh, Clearwater. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's just like the outskirts.
That makes sense. I mean, I knew when I was looking it up on the map, but I just, pressed go and was like, I don't know where this is. So tell everybody your biggest tip, because you guys reached out to me originally. Tim reached out to me in 2022.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm curious, we'll get into that story about how you're homeowners in 2025, but give us your biggest tips.
For me, it's the unicorn realtor. That has that helps so much. You have no idea.
That and the lender too.
Yeah, having a realtor that has connections to the lender, that has connections to the inspection guy. The realtor's the key thing, really. Because he made us feel comfortable and stuff like that. And just, what else?
Say just sticking it through, honestly. There would be nights where me and him would just feel like defeated, like we weren't going to be able to find anything. And it's just a matter of sticking it out, really.
I like that. I tell people this, like, there's all these P's you need when you're buying a home. You need patience. You need purpose. You need planning.
Yes.
You need a positive attitude. And you really need persistence as a buyer right now.
And don't settle. Yeah. That is one thing that while we were in the process of looking, we would find one thing that we liked about a home, and then there was another option that we liked about another home, but there were certain aspects that were on our list, and we just kept saying to ourselves, we cannot settle. We cannot.
We tried to talk ourselves into it several times, and then it wouldn't have worked out.
Yeah.
This is what's so interesting, because you're telling me you try to talk yourself into homes.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't talk yourself into planning, because you reached out to me in 2022, Tim.
You sure did.
Give us all the breakdown of what was going on at that time in your life. We always say life happens, whatever. But what was going on, and what was the big thing that pushed you over the hump and got you into home shopping?
Well, so initially we were looking for a house in 2022, and that's when the market, or 2020, that's when the market kind of just was getting a little too ridiculous. Like, we were just getting outbidded on everything. I think we put a bid in on a house and we got outbidded like 85 grand.
Yeah,
or something like that.
We were like in the middle, and I think we put almost offered like $10,000 more.
Yeah, than what it was actually worth.
Yeah.
So at that point we're like, it's just not our time. We just couldn't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
And then last year we've been talking about getting a house since then. We've always looked and still followed the market and stuff like that a little, but as so last year our landlord was like, oh, we're going to remodel this and that, and we're like, oh, cool. So we moved out for a month and a half. He remodeled, we moved back in, unpacked, and then he told us he decided he's going to sell the place. So that kind of left us, and he's like, oh, and you have 30 days to vacate, by the way.
Yeah.
Mind you, we've been there for 13 years. We grew up there.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So we had 30 days to find this place, and we got it done in what,
28 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was insane.
It was crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So imagine moving out, moving in, moving out again, and then moving into a house.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was a curve. Like, we were pretty pissed. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was pretty upset
Dude.
about it. But
He let you move back in. That's
Yeah.
the lame part.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we had literally just unpacked like the final little bit of boxes. And we got the text message, and I was like, you have to be kidding me, on a Friday night. And it was our wedding anniversary weekend too.
Oh.
And so it was just like, really?
And prior to that, we got hit with the hurricane stuff, and it was a lot of things that trickled down. And as mad as I was at him, I'm extremely ecstatic that he did that, because we probably would have pushed it off for another year or two or 5. You never know. Like, we're like, oh, our rent was pretty cheap there, and that's why we stayed there. But then he was going to raise it after the remodel.
Of course.
And
it just wasn't feasible to rent anymore. And it, as hard as it was the biggest blessing we could have ever had, honestly. So
there's a way I want to go with this now. Mm-hmm. It was hard before, early 2020s, early post-pandemic.
Yeah.
Did you run into the same type of problems now? I mean, you basically got your ass kicked to the curb and you had to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
But did you run into the same sort of things, or was it that unicorn relationship that made things easier, or did you find the market different?
We did hire a real estate agent like right before, I contacted you. I don't think I heard from you right away. So we tried one person out, and all they wanted to do was just force the sale on us rather than find us a home.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, well, you're not completely ready, and maybe you should just wait a couple more months. I was like, okay. I was like, but I just told you I have 30 days to find a place,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not waiting. We got to figure it out. And then once you got us in touch with Andre, that's where things started moving more professionally, more personally, more like just respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't trying to make, I'm sure he's, excuse me.
Hi, Kitty. That's Kitty on the video, everybody.
I'm sure he's trying to make $1, or his money or whatnot, but he was doing everything from climbing, looking under the sink, to climbing on the roof, to, looking in the attic for us during inspections, and just steering us in the right direction and answering every single question that we had. Not too many realtors answered questions
in the way that we needed it to be explained to us. And it was just nice to have that clarity throughout the whole process. And compared to like when we first started looking, we had a decent realtor. She was very nice, very kind. She did what she could, but I just think we didn't, I don't know, something just didn't mesh. And we found some stuff, but like we said, everything was just so outpriced, and compared to now, where I felt like we definitely had more options to go with, but
The market definitely settled down.
yeah.
We kind of got into the market as it started to finally just level out,
Yeah.
like, or kind of. I don't know the market that well, but
No, you're right.
From looking around and like watching, because I wasn't just watching your videos, I was watching like how the market was on YouTube, just watching other agents and stuff like that. Me personally, I just kept myself very informed, and listening to your stuff, I just kept doing research and just kept watching, you know.
I'm in the middle of
Um,
writing a podcast right now, and one of the examples I use is Florida
mhm.
and Clearwater.
Yeah.
Post hurricane, for those of you who don't know, that they also are having a condo crisis in Florida, which is lowering prices because there's HOA problems. And that stems all the way back to a few years ago when that condo collapsed.
Yes.
They're still going through that. But this year we saw some major changes.
Yes.
Our
Did you-
HOA at our condo went from like 4 something or 5 something to
No.
I think it's 6 7.
$658 at where the condo we were at. And it I remember just hearing all of the residents who also lived there. They were like, yeah, we're not sure how this whole insurance thing is going to play out because of the whole collapsed condo and everything. And that I couldn't imagine. I mean, thank God with our rent that we didn't have to like really put out to that. But just I couldn't imagine having to spend that much money on an HOA fee like that on top of a mortgage.
It can change everything. And that's why, like you said, you may have found a realtor who was nice. There are some realtors that are extremely personable, but they're just door openers and they don't have the experience.
Yes.
And like you guys said, you had 28 days. You said you were talking yourself into places. Was that during the 30-day crunch?
Yes. Yeah.
And then it got to the point where you kind of go through everything on Zillow and you're just waiting for a house to come up. And I sit back and I realize I'm like, those are the people that have been the people that get those houses immediately. Those are the people that have been looking for the past 30 to 60 days. We're just looking at the leftover stuff that nobody else wanted. That's how I kind of look at it, at least.
No, you're totally right. And I can tell you this, the reason why I'm so hardlined on the podcast about get your team early and prepare. Because when you do that, should something crazy like this happen, then you're ready to go. What I don't like to publicize is that if you are in a crazy position, I know the right people who can make it work, because then I'm just giving everybody all this crazy crap. But but Andre didn't make you guys feel like that. So
No.
Well, talk about the home shopping process then. Since you were in like this condensed timeline, were you guys seeing multiple homes? Were you driving neighborhoods? What did you guys do?
Yeah.
So we love just driving through neighborhoods to begin with anyway. So that was a benefit to us. We would just kind of, some days we would just take our dogs, throw them in the truck, and then just go rolling through neighborhoods, see what's out there, and then
kind of dream,
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is the type of neighborhood I want and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it does matter. Like I even like the little things of like driving into a neighborhood and like, it's just that feeling.
Yeah.
I'm shocked at the people who call me and just tell me that they're like, they send me a Zillow link. Is this a nice house? And I'm like, who are you? Where do you live? What kind of neighborhood did you grow up in? I mean, you guys have been in some place for 13 years. Were there parts of the neighborhood that you were in that you wanted to replicate and parts that you wanted to change?
Luckily we were in a pretty decent neighborhood that, I love that other neighborhood, but it started to get really busy and we were starting to get priced out of our own neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because that condo went from 285 to 400 in the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Insane.
Which is ridiculous. It's a small condo. It's not that nice of a condo. So that was one thing that was starting to scare us. We were worried that we're not going to be able to even rent in our area, because we started renting there at $1,100 a month, and luckily he didn't raise us too much towards the end, it was like $1450 a month. He was going to bump it up to $2200 a month. And then I also have a shop that I rent, which is almost $700 a month. So I'm paying almost $3,000 a month for a condo and a storage place. I told her, I was like, $300 more, we could probably get a house and just, stop wasting money renting.
Yeah.
So how did that mathematically work out for you? What's your new full payment?
I think we're at $30.50.
And does that have a place for your shop, or do you still have the shop?
Yeah. No, I have everything in my garage. I got rid of a lot of stuff, but I didn't need it. It's just sitting there. So
so it was a straight swap. 1450 plus 700.
Yeah.
So it worked out perfect.
22 plus 700. So it would have been 29.
Yeah.
So it worked out perfect for us.
Wow. And who would have thought that Friday night on your anniversary weekend that you'd be sitting here with me going, it worked out perfect.
Right. Seriously. I was at work when he told me about it, and I was just packing up, and I was just getting my stuff ready to go home. And I literally in the office, I was like, what the F? I was like, and thank God it was at the very end of the day, so it was very little of us. But my coworkers were like, what is going on? I was like, I just got this text message saying I'm needing to get out in 30 days. And they're like, you gotta be kidding me after all of this. I was like, I know.
I tell people all the time, when your landlords start doing renovations, if they even mention they're going to do renovations, get a backup plan. I can't tell you how many people ask us to come over to their house, and we give them a few tips on what to do before they sell. And then we just wait for the phone call when they go, we love it now, we're staying here.
Yeah. And he promised us he would never do it to us and this and that. He's like, I'll at least give you 90 days and this and that. Mm-hmm. And then I straight up told him, I was like, dude, it's just wrong. I was like, it's just wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you could have just given us a longer heads up. So
the hard part with a 13-year contract is the original contract was eons ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And so, the minute that stuff starts to happen, you can protect yourself as a renter by asking for new things in writing, but they're probably not going to give it to you. And they're going to verbally give you 90 days. And then, So you ended up going straight across as far as fiscally, a lateral move for you based on what you were going to have to pay. So you were prepared for that. What kind of down payment did you guys end up with?
We did what, 12.5 or maybe 13.5?
I think it was like 13.5. Yeah.
13.5 all in. So you were probably on 388. You were probably like a 3.5. Do you remember? Did you do an FHA or a conventional?
We did FHA.
Yes.
So you probably did the 3.5 FHA loan, 3.5%, which everybody. I laugh that there's still like 38% of the people think you need 20%.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
The realtors before, that's the reason why we didn't get a house in 2020 or 2022 or whatever, is because once we got down to the nitty gritty and all the paperwork, they're like, oh, you need 10,000 more, 20,000 more.
Yeah.
It's like, we told you we don't have that. We have 12,000 at the time or whatever the number was. And then it always kept going up. And same thing with the realtor right before Andre. I was like, I just need a final number. You need to just give me the numbers. And they just couldn't get me the numbers. I don't know why, it never equaled out to what they say we were supposed to pay at first.
Mm-hmm.
So
it could get very difficult because there's a little bit of inherent ambiguity in your final closing costs, but that doesn't make up for the excuse of not knowing how to. I mean, like, we're not getting in the car unless you guys know what the monthly payment is going to be and, the parameters of the minimum and maximum that you're going to pay. Why would you do that to somebody? Why would you crush somebody's dreams?
Right.
And I felt like that kept happening for a little while, but it worked out.
Well, thank God you found that right person, the combination between someone who has a compassionate heart, but, knows his stuff.
Yes.
And so were you whirlwinding then? Were you seeing multiple homes on the weekends?
Yeah, there was days where I was like, saying to my boss, I was like, hey, Rachel, sorry, I got to go look at a house, and actually left work to come see this house and to come look at it during the week. And because we had saw it and we were like, oh, we need to jump on this. It's been on the market surprisingly for a little while. And
I work like 8 minutes down the road from here. And I was like, for some reason we kept looking on Zillow, and I think I might have blocked it because it was out of our numbers at the time.
Yeah.
And then once he figured out like a solid number, he's like, I could probably get you to this and that. So I was like, all right. So I randomly like looked on Zillow and then went up a little bit in price, and I blocked it for some reason because it was a little out of our price range and I just didn't want to see it, to be honest. And then I looked at it again. I was like, oh, this is kind of cute. And I was like, let me drive up there. So I drove up and I drove through. The moment I drove through the neighborhood, I was like, ooh, this is it.
Yeah, because we had seen there was one weekend where we saw about 7-8 houses. Then there was another weekend we saw another 5. So we were going and seeing them.
Yeah.
And
we would drive through the neighborhoods if the realtor wasn't available,
Yeah.
We would just drive through the neighborhood, check out the surroundings. Things we like to do is drive after work, see how the neighborhood feels, if there's a lot of traffic, stuff like that. So, we wanted a particular type of feeling when we came home. So
I couldn't have said it better myself. You just gave like the greatest advice for first-time home buyers. The fact that you had been doing that for years and narrowing it down. There was a reason why you could do this in 30 days, and it was the partnership.
Yeah.
I try to tell people all the time, don't expect you to hire a realtor and them to find the perfect first 6 homes for you, and they just open the door to them.
Right.
Because I don't know what busy means to you when I drive it at 6:00 at night or on a Friday or Saturday night. You guys
exactly.
know.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And what was great was the nights that we would, like, even sometimes after work, and we'd be out there till 9 o'clock some nights, and we'd be on getting the Zillow link, and Andre, we would just send him the listing and he'd be like, all right, I'm on it. I'll look at and find out what I can for you and get us all the info. And he'd be like, we can take a look at it. But he was like, I feel like there's some other options. And he was just always
he was honest.
Yeah, he was very honest.
Because there were times where we were trying to talk ourselves into something, and he's like,
he
honestly,
knew you had
guys,
30 days.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's because he had the faith. He had the faith because he knows the inventory and he knows what he can do in what time frame, as opposed to somebody else who would have panicked and just been like, you have to buy this one now or you're going to be homeless.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Another advice that I would give is that, because when the inventory is like, once you go through all of the inventory that's currently on there, you're like, oh God, what if we revisit this house? What if we, because you're worried that you're not going to find another house or someone's going to get to these other houses. And right now, with how the market was, things eventually came on the market. Like every weekend, there was something else. We're like, oh, cool. And there are things that you miss, like this house. This was on the market and we missed it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think just...
That's great advice. A good realtor is never going to let you be impatient.
Yeah.
We've done this 100 times. We know that the automatic search is going to pop. If we don't see anything on Sunday, we don't call you on Monday and say, oh, there's going to be, hang on, just wait. We wait till Wednesday or Thursday because we know when that's when the new stuff is going to pop.
Yeah.
So, what works for this home for you guys?
Excuse me?
What works in this home? What were the things that made you go, obviously, location, neighborhood, that's huge. But it had to be, like, the shop had to be part of it, right?
Yeah. For me, personally, I'll let you go first.
No.
What did No, I'm done talking to Tim. Vanessa, what did you like about the house?
So I've always wanted a very open floor plan. I've always wanted a screened-in patio and a backyard, a fenced-in backyard.
Yeah, for our pups.
For our dogs. And that was one, those were my top 3. As long as I had those, I was happy. And then
And obviously like AC.
Yeah.
Like
Brand new AC, like at least a newer AC, a newer roof, the big ticket items. So that way we're not having to worry about it years down the line. It's going to be years down the line, not,
Yeah.
4, 5, 10 years, like we have a good foundation to start on, and to be able to collect a nest egg and be able to prepare for, a water pipe blowing out, or, our AC going out in the Florida heat.
Yeah, so you check on those things first. And I mean, I'm looking on the video at you guys. It's a gorgeous, big, open room, and I see 2 vents. So you guys are ready for Florida.
Yes.
2 vents in one room. That's my kind of house. I keep the AC at 60, baby.
Yeah. You're my kind of guy.
And for me, it was just mainly a garage, a big garage, because we have two little show vehicles that we have, and they're lowriders. So I needed a flat entrance to get my cars into. So we looked at one house that had such a steep incline. I was like, babe, we can't get any of our cars up here. I was like, we need flat ground. And luckily this driveway is perfectly flat.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. It checks all the boxes.
That's awesome. So is that a hobby, or is this like a gig for you, Tim? Do you work in that industry, or is this a hobby?
Yeah, I used to own my own custom paint and body shop.
Oh, cool.
Then, it was a hobby. It became a career, and then it's still a hobby, and I still work in the industry as well. So, and she has her own little toy herself.
You got something in the garage too, Vanessa?
I do. I have a little Volkswagen Bug.
Old school or a new one?
An old school one. A 61.
I had a 1970 Super Beetle. It was my first car for 6 years.
Nice.
That's so cool.
I was working at Disneyland, and I was involved with Peter Pan and stuff like that. And so I called my car Wendy.
Oh, how cute.
I love my little 1600cc lawnmower engine car.
Yep.
I learned to tell you, if you can learn how to drive stick on an old school Bug, you can drive anything. That's another clutch, and it's like butter in comparison.
Yeah. And then you get stuck in front of everyone, and you got to figure it out.
Yep.
You sure did.
Yeah. So I stalled out.
Oh my God. I took it to San Francisco once. Bad move.
Oh God.
Hills. Whoa.
Yeah.
So that's such an amazing story, because only having 30 days, you're at that position where you're looking at these house parameters, and what might be silly to somebody else, but an inclined driveways is a deal killer for you.
Yeah.
And so in order for you guys to be able to do that so quickly, wow. And then the financing was all set up, you guys are ready to go, or did you have to? I've talked to people that talk about taking sick days and PDOs, like you were talking about needing the time off. Was it a whirlwind of activity?
So I did have to, thankfully, I had enough in my 401k to where I could pull it out and not have any sort of penalties on me.
Say that again. First time home buyers can take money out of their 401k with what?
Yes. No penalties.
And no taxable event. Thank you so much.
I'm so blessed that I learned about that, and that honestly kind of saved us because of the time crunch, because
we weren't really planning on this at all.
Like we were like he had said, we were talking about it, and thankfully, like, we had started a bit of a savings, and
we literally, like, several months prior, we're like, all right, we're gonna start getting serious on getting a house, because you keep pushing it back, and then you keep pushing it back, and then it just 4 or 5 years keeps going by. So
yeah, thankfully we had that little bit saved up already, and then I was able to get, it wasn't exactly $10,000. They'd take a little bit of a fee and stuff, so it was like $9,000 and change, but it pretty much covered it all and really, really helped us. And
it gave us, we actually had money, a good amount of money left over to, address the little issues in the house. There's things that you got to be prepared for with a house.
Yes.
A house is a lot of work. I love it, but it is a lot of work. You got to maintain the lawn, you got to buy the lawn equipment, you got to buy stuff, so just be prepared for like the little stuff that
Yeah.
you need to do that stuff. Um, but
You
for
guys
us,
did it
it's
right, though. I mean,
yeah.
when you described it, you talked about the big ticket items.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, these little items you guys could address.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so that was super helpful, and I'll say it to everyone, if you have a 401k, look into it.
What's the worst that
Honestly,
happens?
right.
You look into it and you
You
know it's
pay
there.
you're just paying yourself back, and it's just it just made it just gave me a peace of mind. It took a weight off of our shoulders that we didn't need in this situation, and it was just a real blessing in disguise. Honestly, it really was.
There are
So
tools. There are tools that can help you become a homeowner and create that
yeah.
rent replacement strategy. And you
Yes.
guys have been 13 years doing this and thinking about this for a while, and the
Mhm.
market felt unattainable. Now you
Right.
simply used a tool to diversify your retirement.
Yeah.
Now your shop's at home. That's
Yes.
awesome. I mean, and you're sitting in that beautiful home there. And
Thank
apparently what
you.
you tell me is a nice neighborhood that I need to drive through next time I'm in Florida.
Yes.
Let's do.
Yeah. Come on by.
Yeah, I'll crack you open a beer.
Let me tell you what, as soon as I land, I'll be calling you before I get my Uber.
Sounds good to us.
I'll come
And
pick
I
you
need to
up.
go cruising. Where do you cruise with the lowrider? I know where they do it in LA. Where do you drive down there?
We do a lot of car shows out here. They don't
Nice.
really do too many cruisings like LA does.
Yeah.
But we do a lot of car meets and car shows, and me and my club will cruise around to we've done like beach cruises because we have roads that just ride along the beach and stuff like that.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
But
Yeah.
every Sunday I start up her bug. There's a town in downtown. It's Tarpon Springs, but it's called the Sponge Docks. It's a little Greek city,
Yeah.
and it's just a strip. It's just nothing but like Greek restaurants and stores and stuff like that. So I just do a little cruise there every Sunday.
That's awesome. All right. So here's what you got to do. Next time you go, open the podcast app on your phone.
Mhm.
And when people ask you, hey, where do you work on your car? You say, in my garage. Here, listen to this. Click. And then you send it to them.
Yep.
Yep.
And we'll have the whole car club owning homes. And you guys will be hanging out in each other's garages. It'll be
Exactly. I was gonna say, come take a ride in the bug.
awesome.
Oh, no. I'm going to go cruising, and then I'm going to come home, and it's going to be nostalgia time. Then
Yes.
I'm going to go drive. I can still see me and my idiot friends driving up to Hollywood in my bug.
Oh,
Just
how awesome.
Oh, yeah. I had that thing until it was like the day of the Gulf War in 1991. And
Yeah.
I got it when I was 16 in 86.
Wow,
And,
that's awesome.
and when the guy smashed it, the insurance company was like, bro, like it
That's
cost
sad.
3 times to fix this than the value of the vehicle. So
Yeah.
At that time, they weren't worth too much. So.
no, they were not. They were not.
Yeah.
It was only, it was a 20-year-old junker as opposed to
Yeah.
now classic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that thing. I love the feeling of driving that thing, and like everyone has owned one at one point.
Yeah.
Everyone's always walking up to us and it's like, "Oh, I owned one as a kid." And
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
it's
so
always
cool.
great hearing other people's stories and stuff. So
Oh yeah, that little V window as an air conditioning guy. That
Yeah.
little V window that kept me warm. As soon as I got old enough to get a house, I was like, central air. Game
Yeah.
over.
Yes.
I did break down and buy the new ones in 97, I think.
like the
Mhm.
bubble, the round body styles.
Just to have my nostalgia. And I drove for like a year and I was like, this is not the same.
No.
Yeah.
Good try though.
Yes, it was cute. It was cute. So,
It is cute.
this is great. I'm so excited for you guys. I'm so thrilled. And I seriously am putting you on the list when I get out to Florida. And
Yeah,
we're
please.
going to
Aw.
have some house and car and beverages fun.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Appreciate
Awesome.
that.
Thanks for coming on the show, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Gosh, I love me that story. And I saw the pictures of the cars too, gang. They are sweet. Timothy and Vanessa were thinking about this at different times in their life. They've been renting for a while. Obviously, they had some unique stuff they needed with the right car, the right garage, the right driveway. And so what they found was, as much research and preparation as they did, one of the big factors that helped them get to the finish line was getting the right team. They wanted to make sure I gave a huge shout out to Andre and Mark down there in the Clearwater area who crushed it for them. I would like to say I'm surprised, but when it comes to the unicorns, they don't really surprise me much. So a huge thanks to Tim and Vanessa. I get so pumped up to hear all these great stories, and I hope that you listeners out there are getting lots of great tips from these guys. There's a ton of interviews on there, and there's some fantastic information that can help you with the actual tools and techniques that people are using right now in the 2025 market. And this stuff's going to work through the end of the year and into next year. Keep listening to the podcast. If you want more information about this process, I dropped a couple of foundational episodes. The ones that happened right before this, episode 388 and 389, make sure you check those out. Keep pumping your brain with the knowledge, and most importantly, find those action steps, because if you get the knowledge, you can do this.
Looking for more DIY education or your own personal step-by-step guidance through the home buying journey? Since 2019, How to Buy a Home has been the #1 resource for first-time home buyers. So visit howtobuyaHome.com to get started.